If you've never been in a relationship, the most common thought you're going to have is, what is wrong with me? Why have I not been in a relationship when everyone else is having relationships around me and it seems to be coming so easily to them? What is wrong? Am I not good enough? Am I not pretty enough? Am I too intimidating? Like, what's the reason? And it's none of those things. It's actually really two common patterns that block you from being in a relationship. And both of them are actually caused by the same thing. And warning, this is going to be a really deep and a bit longer video because we're gonna go deeper. So if you're not ready for it, keep scrolling. When you experience some sort of trauma in your childhood, your subconscious mind learns to associate love and attachment with pain. Maybe abandonment, maybe neglect, maybe being criticized, maybe being trapped in the relationship, depending on the kind of trauma you had. But the association is bad. It's like painful. So your brain learns to avoid relationships and avoid attachment in order to avoid this pain. And it manifests in two ways. Number one is romanticizing, fantasizing, and escaping love through fantasy. When you have a painful reality because your life sucks, right? You escape into fantasy. And because your fantasies cannot really hurt you, well, for some they do, but they cannot hurt you the same way that a human being would. You know, you can construct whatever you want in your mind and you can project all your unmet needs and fantasies, right? You end up living in this fantasy world. And so what happens, you only go for emotionally unavailable people because these are the only people that you can project your fantasy on. You cannot go for someone that's available because then you cannot fantasize about them and they're real human with real flaws and they could actually hurt you. But as long as you live in the fantasy world and you're projecting those fantasies on someone you can never be with, then you cannot feel the pain that you felt when you were young. The second super common pattern that you could go down the route of is hyper independence. And that's usually when you have an avoidant attachment style, you know, your parents were neglectful and didn't meet your needs, so you learn to close off and just meet your own needs because you don't need someone abandoning you or rejecting you. You can just, meet your own needs so you don't risk that. And that is usually masked by really high standards that no one can ever meet. You might meet someone that's like good enough and they're nice, but you might be like, but maybe I'll meet someone better. Or, yeah, they're nice, but the sparks weren't crazy. So you find all these excuses for not being in a relationship. But both patterns come down to being scared of love. And so what's the solution? The solution is slowly titrating love. And that means slowly introducing love and intimacy into your life. And it doesn't have to be through a romantic relationship. It could be like, I'm going on a date. It's a stretch for me. Next time I go on a date and kiss someone. Next time I enter a situationship with someone. Next time I make friends with someone of the opposite sex and I let myself be vulnerable. So it's like slowly opening yourself up more and more. And very importantly, yes, it's really good to have those experiences in the context of a safe relationship, but it's actually really important to have your heart broken as well. Because when your worst fears come true and you're scared of rejection, abandonment, all these things, and it happens, sure, it fucking hurts, but you also learn, and this is super important, that you can handle it. You can handle the pain that comes with being in a relationship. And when you learn that even if your worst fears come true and you can still handle it, that's when you're ready to go in a relationship because you're like, yeah, even if they betray me, I'll still be fine. That's a game changer.